Welcome back. Good Monday morning, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and it is Monday, March 10th. It is 7:01 on the East Coast. Time for the hot topic of the hour. Iran responding to the letter that President Trump told me he sent to the Ayatollah, calling for nuclear negotiations. The Iranian Supreme Leader responding to my interview with President Trump, accusing the U.S. of trying to bully Tehran and impose their own expectations, and that it will, quote, not negotiate with the White House. Here's what the president told me on Sunday Morning Futures. There are reports now that Russia says it will help the United States negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. What kind of a deal with Iran do you want to do? You said they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, well, there are two ways Iran can be handled, militarily or you make a deal. I would prefer to make a deal because I'm not looking to hurt Iran. They're great people. I know so many Iranians from this country.
Well, not the leadership.
No, not the leadership.
The
no,
people.
They're very evil people. No, but the people of Iran are great people. But they had a tough regime, and they'd meet and they'd be shot in the streets. I mean, it was a tough deal. But I would rather negotiate a deal. I'm not sure that everybody agrees with me, but we can make a deal that would be just as good as if you won militarily. But the time is happening now. The time is coming up. Something's going to happen one way or the other. I hope that Iran, and I've written them a letter saying, I hope you're going to negotiate, because if we have to go in militarily, it's going to be a terrible thing for them.
You wrote a letter to the Khomeini?
Yes.
When did you send the letter?
Yesterday.
And you said you better negotiate, or we want you to negotiate?
I didn't say you better. I said,
Okay.
I hope you're going to negotiate, because it's going to be a lot better for Iran. And I think they want to get that letter. The other alternative is we have to do something, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
Liz Peek, it was almost immediately, as soon as President Trump made that remark during my interview, the Ayatollah Khomeini responds on X, okay? And he writes this: Iran's Supreme Leader, in an apparent response to Trump's call, says the insistence of some bullying governments on negotiations is not aimed at resolving issues, but rather at asserting dominance and imposing their demands. The Islamic Republic of Iran will certainly not accept their demands, is what Ayatollah wrote in a post on X. Your reaction?
Yeah, my reaction is that the Ayatollahs are on their back foot. Their proxies, Hezbollah, Hamas, etc., have been seriously destroyed by Israel. And so if there's a deal to be made, it is now, Maria, because you know and I know that President Trump will reinforce the sanctions that Joe Biden basically removed. He didn't remove them; he just didn't enforce them.
That's right.
And you know, Trump can really make life difficult for Iran and for the regime. So I think this is just, you know, for public relations purposes. The people of Iran are very restive right now. They see their money going to all these proxy wars that are not working for them. So I think it's probably a very opportune time for Trump to step in there, and kudos to him for doing that.
And you know, I understand that the people of Iran love President Trump, and he loves them back. He had very, very positive comments, as you just heard, about the people of Iran. They are the victims. And, you know, I want to know if the U.S. would support Israel knocking out Iran's nuclear capability. I mean, Israel cut off Gaza's electricity supply now to pressure Hamas into releasing the remaining hostages. And I asked President Trump in my exclusive about the devastating conditions that the hostages faced. Remember, President Trump met with the hostages last week, the ones that were just released. Watch this. Can you tell us a little about what they told you about when they were in captivity?
So the question I asked is the level of meanness. I said, how bad were these people? Did some of them come up and offer you bread or offer you something, like, you know, where the others aren't watching? Was there anybody there that you thought was like trying to help you? No. They all hated us. I said, nobody like said, hey, you're going to get out of this thing soon, don't worry about it? No, it was never said. We all thought we were going to die. I've never seen anything like it, the level of hatred. And, you know, they were in a 3-foot-tall tunnel. And
3 feet.
They had no air. They had no anything. They lived like this. one gentleman said he was there, really nice guy. He said he was there for like 500 days or something. They were there for a long period of time. It was really hell.
Are they being tortured?
Essentially, yeah, because the way they're being treated is incredible. I mean, they were telling me stories that, and I'd rather not say it, but they were telling me stories that were horrible. Man has his broken ribs, and they're punching him in the ribs purposely. There's a level of meanness that it's not even.
So, should we just stop negotiating with them? I mean, they're mocking us.
It's up to Bibi and Israel. They're going to have to do what they want. Look, if you go in, the 24 people are going to be dead. Now, there's a chance that if you go in, they won't die if you do it fast or whatever. But you have 20 out of the 59 people. They gave me a card, said 59. I said, what is this? The hostages. I said, are they all alive? They said, no, 24 are alive. I mean, they knew everything. It was 24 people are alive, and they're in bad shape. They said they won't be alive for long.
This is just incredible, Kenny. And, you know, the reason that I said should we be not talking to Hamas anymore is because, you know, I mean, they're mocking the whole process. We still have not gotten all the hostages out. I don't know what Israel is going to do next, but President Trump said something's going to happen.
Yeah, and I think something has to happen, right? This is dragged on and dragged on and dragged on, and Trump has said, listen, release them or there's going to be hell to pay. So right. I'm just waiting to see what's next. And you know, the fact that Israel's now turned off electricity to Gaza and Hamas is saying, oh, you know, that's so cruel and mean. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And so I think something has to happen, and I hope it happens sooner rather than later, because it's horrendous what's been happening to these people.
What do you say, Cheryl? Those poor families, my heart goes, I'm praying for those families every day.
Noah Argamani was in the Oval Office last week. She was one of those that was released in the hostage swap and the deal. And I told you I was going to have tears in my eyes when she was at the joint address to Congress, and I did have tears in my eyes looking at her, because all she did as a young woman was go to a music festival, and she was brutally kidnapped and finally was able to come home. But so many were not, that did not come home, or they came home in coffins. And I want to remind everyone, just look at the video of the Palestinian people that were celebrating around the coffins of Shiri Bibas and her 2 young children and another elderly hostage who came home in coffins. Oh, by the way, the first coffin wasn't even of Shiri Bibas. It was a Palestinian woman. Then they had to turn around and send the right body. These people are disgusting, and it's not just Hamas, Maria. It is the Palestinian people. How can you be sympathetic anymore to this?
Yeah, and it's what I was referring to, you know, when I said mocking. I mean, they have everybody in the town watching them bring over the coffins. I mean, it's so dreadful. I just can't imagine that Israel is not going to move. We'll see. President Trump says something's going to happen. He wrote the Ayatollah Khomeini a letter to stop the nuclear ambitions and stop raising money to help these proxies. We'll see where this goes next.
Cut off their oil.
Yeah.
Cut off their oil
that's
exports.
what President Trump did, and he returned the maximum pressure. But Joe Biden ignored the sanctions, as Liz just said. Spot on. Yeah. We're just getting started this hour. We've got a lot coming out. We're going to slip in a short break.